It has never been more apparent that the CBC should not be getting a penny of taxpayer dollars, let alone the $1.5 billion from the Canadian people that they currently receive a year. In the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's death, the coverage from the CBC has been truly disgusting, a master display in liberal gaslighting. They had a woman on from some anti-hate group, Rosemary Berry, who essentially blamed Kirk for his own killing, reading quotes that he said throughout his life, essentially giving the rubber stamp of approval for a man being shot in the throat for sharing his opinion. On the CBC's website right now, they have, quote unquote, the 10 most inflammatory quotes. Charlie Kirk gave no context. Inflammatory quotes. They are literally cheerleading a man being shot in the neck for sharing his opinion. David Cochran, a host on the CBC, his immediate reaction while live was to say that Kirk was a divisive figure. How heartless, how disgusting are these people? They are receiving $1.5 billion from the Canadian people a year. A conservative activist who is a very moderate voice. His whole ethos was, I go to college campuses and I debate with people. We may agree, we may disagree, we respect one another, and we're going to get our opinions out in the open, and hopefully I'll be able to convince you. He was shot in the neck by another liberal whack job, and based on reports, they're not confirmed, but based on reports about what was written on the gun, it's not surprising at all who the hell it is. It's the type of people, type of mentally ill people these liberals have been cheerleading like crazy to take hormones at an incredibly young age. It's disgusting. He was killed by an extremist, and from the left, we are consistently seeing what can only be defined as cheerleading and gaslighting. The CBC is worried about retaliation against the left. That is the CBC's main concern right now. And just so you know, look, I'm in Ottawa, just to give you an idea of what liberal cities have turned into. Just open fucking crack smoking all over the place in friggin' Ottawa at 9 a.m. It's lovely. The CBC should not be receiving a penny of taxpayer dollars. You look through the Liberals' website, it is all lies and propaganda. Does the CBC ever tell the Canadian people about the 1.5 million immigrants that Mark Carney is saying he's going to let in the country after allowing 8 million in the past decade, and 75% of the Canadian people saying, enough, we can't withstand anymore? Did the CBC talk about any of the policing stats where in the past decade, since Justin Trudeau was elected, they'll gaslight you and say that Pierre Poilievre lies about violence in our streets? Violent crimes are up 60% in the past decade. Crimes against women up 80%. Petty crimes up over 100%. More Canadians than ever say they're scared for their safety on a day-to-day basis. Police chief after police chief coming out and saying, we need reforms. No reporting by the CBC on the skyrocketing violence. They don't say a goddamn peep, the cowards. On free speech, the attacks on free speech, whether it be via Bill C-63, Bill C-2, Bill C-75, not a peep. They don't say a goddamn word. Our Charter of Rights and Freedoms, Bill C-2, Bill C-4, Bill C-2, giving the federal government to open any Canadian's mail or any of their digital communications without notifying them if it's in the so-called national security interest. Not a word. This is a more extreme bill than what was passed in the states post 9/11, the Patriot Act. Not a goddamn word from the CBC. Bill C-4 retroactively absolves the Liberal Party of any wrongdoing with the millions of pieces of Canadians' data that have been collected since the year 2000. Search Bill C-4 on the CBC. Not a goddamn peep. These guys are propagandists. The housing crisis in this country. Not a goddamn peep. You wouldn't know that housing prices across the country, rentals and housing prices, have skyrocketed unlike anywhere in the Western world, anywhere in the G7, due to the unvetted, unfettered immigration being the largest variable contributing to it. The CBC doesn't talk about it at all. In excess of 70,000 Canadians dying a year due to our broken healthcare system. Again, immigration plays a massive role in this. Don't let them gaslight you and call you a racist or a xenophobe for saying that the primary responsibility of our government is to look after the fucking Canadian people. The Canadian people are the government's primary goddamn responsibility. That's common sense. 70,000 of us. I personally know 2 people who died because of our ridiculously broken healthcare system. And that's because unlimited people are allowed into the country when we clearly cannot withstand it. And now the death of Charlie Kirk, these disgusting animals are going on TV and going like, we really need to be worried about violence against the left. We really, after a conservative activist was just shot in the head, and their response is, we really need to be concerned about violence against the left. Are you effing kidding me? If you pull your head out of your ass, you'd notice that 90% of the violent events that are going on are lefties. I know that they like to gaslight you and they like to say, oh, the right wing are a bunch of violent fascists. You need to be scared of the white man. But when you actually dig into the statistics and what's happening in the world, it's lefties who time and time again are more violent. I know they'll never tell you this. I know all they ever want to talk about is what happened in Germany in the 1930s. And Germany, what happened in Germany in the 1930s was terrible. But you know who killed a whole hell of a lot more people? It was the communists. It was the USSR, Stalin, Lenin. They killed tens of millions of people. The communists are incredibly far left-wing people, historically, are ridiculously violent and bloodthirsty people who want to go over after their opponents, and it's being proven again and again and again in modern day. The CBC is the perfect exemplar. They're using this as an opportunity to attack Donald Trump. How about we take a look at our leaders? I know they want to blame Trump for absolutely everything. The housing crisis, the immigrant, all the issues that we're having in Canada, believe it or not, it's not Donald Trump's fault. The Liberal Party has now been in power for the past 11 years. The country is clearly continuing to get worse and worse and worse. I never used to see the amount of open crack smoking and drug use on our streets that you do now. It's crazy. It's in the period of under a decade, the transition in Canada is truly shocking. We are quickly becoming a third world dystopia. And it's shocking because we have the second largest landmass of any country in the world. We have the greatest natural resources. We have some of the greatest opportunities in the world. But because of these ridiculous green initiatives, because liberals don't understand basic economics, Mark Carney, who's supposed to be some sort of an economic genius, saw $63 billion leave the country already since he got in as prime minister. 1.6% drop in GDP, massive drop in GDP. This guy's supposed to be an economist? No, he just wants to get himself rich through so-called green initiatives. And we don't take advantage of any of our natural resources. Don't take advantage of LNG because Mark Carney can't get his rich off LNG. It's disgusting what's going on in Canada. The CBC should not be receiving another goddamn penny of our taxpayer dollars. Tomorrow, Take Canada Back rally, noon, Parliament Hill, for Canadians who are absolutely sick of this bullshit, this woke bullshit that's ruining this goddamn country. Take Canada Back rally, noon, Parliament Hill. I want to see thousands of patriotic Canadians out. Message me if you're interested in attending. Please like, share, subscribe, join, become a member, help mold this movement from the ground up. And if you're following on TikTok, make sure you're following on YouTube, youtube.com/@FightForCanada 2025, because I'm over 16K followers on TikTok. And the Canadian government is not a big fan of dissidents. Canadian patriots are going to win.